On Thursday night, GNN conducted a regular interview with the governor of Magnolia, and in this interview, it was shown that the governor has some views and is taking some actions that much of the opposition didn't agree with. As GNN is considered a nonpartisan organization, it is now that I state, as the main reporter on this story, that GNN does not have any political affiliation or agenda that we push. We are reporting on this purely for educational and informational purposes. That being said, this issue is an issue that needs to be reported. To start, we will show the interview that we had with the governor. This will be followed by a statement from the opposition, read by one of our own GNN reporters. All right, I'm here with Magnolia's governor, Charlie Fruget. And we just have a couple of questions to ask you.
Fantastic.
What are the current bills that the Senate and House are currently working on to get passed for the state of Magnolia?
All right, well, right now I have my 10 appointees in the House from Fitch, and I have my 4 appointees in the Senate from Fitch working on Fitch's city project. Quite simply, we will not move until Fitch's city project is passed. That is my promise to my city, and everything else will come to a halt. I will veto any bill until Fitch's city project is passed.
And how do you feel about the potential other bills that might get brought up? You know, you might have your other senators and representatives might be able to override you in this case, given that with a 2/3 vote, we can, in the Senate and the House, bring yourself to pass a bill anyways.
Yes, well, quite simply, the House was 20 people before I appointed. It is now 55 people. So I have appointed more than half of the House. I quite simply think a veto override is unlikely.
Well, thank you so much, Governor. We might have more interviews on the way.
Pleasure
Thank you again.
Thank you.
The following is the statement from the opposition to the governor and Speaker of the House of Representatives. Thursday evening, the governor conducted a standard interview with the news agency GNN, and the question of proposed legislation was brought up during the interview. The governor spoke about his appointments in both the legislative chambers and began to openly brag about his ability to block all legislation in both chambers until his city's project, Fitch, was passed through both chambers. The governor is exercising his abilities to run the government, but he's doing it at the cost of the people. By blocking all other legislation, he's putting all of Magnolia on the line to push for a short-term goal. The governor has staged a coup in the chambers, and the people will pay the price for it. Also on Thursday night, the House of Representatives was set ablaze after the Speaker of the House ignored the request to table Fitch's city project. A representative from Aguirre raised his hand numerous times and was ignored. The Speaker was finally forced to address the issue and said to the effect of, he was not going to allow any legislation to come out of the House, namely city projects, until Fitch's city project was passed. Numerous representatives who had previously expressed their support for either the Speaker or the city of Fitch were deeply hurt and turned on the Speaker and the city of Fitch. While the bill was eventually passed, the uproar in the House did not go unnoticed, and many representatives will not allow this act of unwarranted aggression to go unnoticed. The city of Fitch and some of its people in power, while not overstepping their powers, are neglecting to serve as servants to all of Magnolia and are instead putting themselves first. The promise of serving the entire state, not just a party, was in fact the platform the governor ran on. While we cannot force you to agree with us, the fact of the matter is that the city of Fitch is not fulfilling its duty as the city elected to lead the state of Magnolia. While we don't have much power to change, we can protest these decisions. If you feel the same way, as much as the representatives do, make your voice known. Talk to your cities and state officials. It's time to drain the swamp, and it's time to start impeachment for both the governor and the Speaker of the House. A great man once said, "A house divided cannot stand." We must act now. Once again, I would like to mention, GNN is a nonpartisan organization which pushes no political affiliations or political agenda. We report purely for educational and informational purposes, and this was an issue that our team felt was important enough to report on.